Welcome into NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. We're breaking down the playoff picture entering Week 13, specifically going in depth on the AFC playoff picture. We'll briefly update where the NFC sits, but there's a Monday Night Football game that's going to matter there. All the AFC games are actually done for the week. They're actually done going into Sunday Night Football, but the timing meant I was not going to be able to get to it. Patriots have the number 1 seed at 10-2. Their bye has actually not yet come, crazily enough. Denver, Indy in control of their divisions for now at least. The Ravens have now surpassed the Pittsburgh Steelers to be the 4 seed, at least for now. They have that tiebreaker. And then a lot of chaos here. 3 7-win teams, Chargers, Jags, and Bills. 3 6-win teams, Steelers, Texans, and Chiefs. All of them at least think they have a chance to find a way to make the postseason. Again, we'll go in depth on all of those teams briefly here. This is where the NFC playoff picture sits. Don't think there are going to be any clinching scenarios quite yet for any of these teams because the Cowboys beat the Eagles. I think that actually extended an extra week, frankly, from the Eagles' perspective in that division. The Giants are our first eliminated team. Now, if you want the NFC playoff breakdown tomorrow, show it by liking today's show. Let's see if we can't have the most likes on a video this year so far with the playoff picture side of things. Like the video for me right now. All right, in-depth, team by team here. The Patriots. I did spend probably too much time crunching the numbers on, can the Patriots actually clinch a playoff spot this week? And the answer is no. Now, they can essentially clinch if the right teams lose. I believe they're going to be able to clinch the division when they play the Bills in a couple of weeks. That'll be their first chance to clinch the division. They can't quite clinch that playoff spot yet, but they're at a 99% playoff chance. Even if they lose out, they've still actually got a decent chance of making the postseason. That's why it's at 99%. So Patriots will clinch soon, not quite this week. Denver at 9-2, entering a couple of games here that should be able to win, coming off the bye. The Commanders and the Raiders. Both of those games are games the Broncos can, should, need to win, whatever. Then the Packers. Schedule's not that daunting. Even with the Chiefs winning, Denver is in prime control of that division. A chance to lock it up before they even play the Chargers in Week 18. Indianapolis, a painful loss against the Chiefs in overtime, did bring down their playoff odds. They've still got, well, I guess it's down to a game now, division lead against the Jags, and they play Houston and Jacksonville 2 times still. So Colts totally control their destiny. It can all go belly up still if they don't take care of business. Home against Houston is a pretty big game for both of those teams, and frankly, one of the better games this week in the NFL. A lot of good games, though. Who do you think is the best team in the AFC? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Is it the Patriots, Broncos, Colts, somebody else altogether? Let me know right now. Look, the score says they won by 13 and they covered, or I think they covered. That was not a great performance from the Ravens. That was kind of choppy and inconsistent. They just, again, a key game in which they start slow. They play on Thanksgiving night against, I assume, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. We'll see if Burrow actually plays or not. The Ravens, in the meantime, they are back to controlling their destiny. Schedule's not that hard. 2 big games coming against the Steelers, though, down the stretch. They got to win a lot of these games. The Chargers, the number 5 seed for now, coming off their bye. Nice little get-right game against the now Chip Kellyless Raiders, which highest paid OC, fired 11 games in. Insanity. The Chargers are very banged up. The schedule's not that easy. The Raiders is an easy one, in theory. But then the Eagles, Chiefs, even the Cowboys, Houston, and Denver all harbor very real playoff aspirations. I think you got to win 10 games to make it in the AFC playoff picture at minimum this year. 10 might even be a lost tiebreaker as rare as those are. You got to win 3 of those games, if not 4. It's not going to be easy for LA. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It's the holiday season, the best time of the year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, all happening at once. And you and I are out here making decisions every day on what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, or which games to watch in the quad box. There's one place where it feels good to be right, and that is Prize Picks. They got a new feature, by the way, early payouts. lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash those winnings before the game even finishes. Prize Picks, this is one of our lineups for Monday night. George Kittle, more than a half touchdown. Tedero McMillan, less than 65.5 receiving yards. You can also do the flex play. You can still get one wrong and cash out if you go 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, etc. Prize Picks is simple to play, more or less on at least 2 player stats. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. I don't think we should be sleeping on Jacksonville. As ugly as it looks at times, and the Cardinals-Jags was the fourth quarter, who doesn't want to win this game more outcome, their schedule's pretty easy. Obviously, Indy twice is very tough. Denver's not going to be easy. They get the Titans and the Jets. Twice Tennessee, once against New York. They have a lot of these tiebreakers head-to-head. Now, not against Houston. That matters, but they have that ever-looming Chiefs tiebreaker, which I do think matters quite a bit. The Chiefs, we'll get into, don't have as many tiebreakers. For whatever reason, Houston just owns Buffalo. Like, they just own them. It's really weird. But for now, the Bills, as the last of the 3 7-4 teams in that 7 seed, they got to start winning, though. And the schedule, mostly okay to set up. Steelers, Bengals, Patriots in a game that might decide the division. Browns, Eagles, Jets. They got to win. And if they don't win, they miss the playoffs somehow, and head coach is going to be on the hot seat, fair or not. Pittsburgh, after the painful loss at the Chicago Bears, 31-28, no Rodgers in that game, have fallen out of the AFC North lead, and their schedule doesn't exactly set up in a favorable fashion. The 2 games against the Ravens are the most important. They can win those 2 games and keep themselves alive. The Dolphins game should be a win, but also the Lions and the Bills on the schedule. Pittsburgh, they're going to win at least 9 games. That's what they always do. Can they get to 10 and get the division? Who ends up winning the AFC North? S for the Steelers, R for the Ravens. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. S for the Steelers, R for the Ravens. Forgot to mention, if you notice that playoff probability, it's all per NFL's next-gen stats on their playoff picture. So that is, you can look at the New York Times playoff sim has a little bit different numbers, but they're all within a couple percentage points apart there. Houston, they've gutted out some wins with Davis Mills. Very impressive there. These next 2 games, though, are going to determine, are they legit or not? I think you have to win at least one of the games against the Colts and the Chiefs. You lose both of those, you're sitting at 6 and 7. You're probably on the outside looking in. Even though the schedule does get a little bit favorable with the Cardinals and the Raiders after that. Chargers game might be an elimination game. Very possible there. And we'll see if they're playing for anything against the Colts come Week 18. Finally, the teams are going to discuss today in depth. The Chiefs. 54% playoff chance. Had they lost, boy, it would have plummeted. They beat the Colts in overtime, an impressive rally by the Chiefs. They play on Thanksgiving against the Cowboys. And of the games left, that is probably the one game the Chiefs can afford to lose. It's an NFC game. It doesn't matter as much for tiebreakers, and it's not against teams that are also fighting in the AFC playoff picture. Houston is a must-win game because of tiebreakers. Chargers, a must-win game because of tiebreakers. Tennessee should be an auto win. Denver is going to be a key game. Denver might have clinched the division already. It's a chance of that being the case there, but they're probably fighting for playoff seeding. You can't get swept by Denver, and you got to beat the Raiders. This next game for the Chiefs, and funnily enough for the Cowboys on our show on tomorrow, it's actually not probably a must-win game, but it does make your margin for error 0 the rest of the way. So you don't want to lose it, right? So will the Chiefs make the playoffs this year? They are still stuck in that 10 spot for now. Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. As for the Dolphins, Bengals, Browns, Raiders, Jets, Titans, they're not officially eliminated yet, but the season's over. It's all about tankathon moving forward. Rapid fire the elimination scenarios here. Tennessee, a loss and they're out. That's the simple one. If they win, they are also out if the Ravens and Texans win, or the Ravens and Chiefs win, or the Bills and Texans win, or the Bills and Chiefs win. So again, they're not going to be a playoff team. Jets also on the verge here. They are out. Simplest path. There are some more complicated ones. If they lose, the Bills win and the Jags win. Both of those games, the Bills and Jags will be favored in. The Raiders also out if they lose and the Texans and Jags win, or the Bills and Jags win, or the Jags and Chiefs win. Again, those are all teams that all of those scenarios should happen from a other team winning perspective. So season's over. It's all about tankathon for those guys.